Welcome back, Bazigers. There are some hands in poker where you are left wondering as to what is the best way to play them. One of these hands is Jack-Jack. Some players cannot contain their excitement at seeing two high cards of the same rank together. But once a queen, king or an ace comes on the flop, one is not sure of what action to take. In this video, we are going to discuss some pointers and things that you should keep in mind when you are dealt pocket jacks. Generally speaking, in cash games, one should try to make a standard raise, close to 3 times the big blind with this hand before the flop if nobody has raised before us. In case there has already been a raise before our action, it is usually a good idea to re-raise with this hand and put more chips into the pot, especially when we are in position, that is on the dealer button or just before the dealer position. This is because Jack-Jack will generally perform well against a big number of hands that our opponents could be raising with. For example, our opponents are likely to raise pre-flop with hands like King-Jack suited, King-10 suited, Queen-Jack suited, Jack-10 suited, 10-9 suited and almost all pocket pairs lower than Jack-Jack. Against hands which have 2 cards of higher rank than Jack-Jack such as Ace-King, Ace-Queen and King-Queen, our hand is still a slight favorite to win. This leaves only a few hands that perform better than Jack-Jack, namely Queen-Queen, King-King and Ace-Ace. Let's take a look at an example of a 10-20 table. Let's say one of the players raises to 50 here and we decide to re-raise to 140. Now, when the action falls back to the opponent, he further raises the bet to 500. In this scenario, we should consider the possibility that he may have one of these hands and we need to proceed carefully. Let's now take a look at a few more examples of hands where we are holding Jack-Jack on different kinds of boards. For simplicity, our hand will be Jack of Hearts, Jack of Diamonds in all of these examples. Number 1. If the board is 4 of clubs, 5 of spades, 6 of clubs and we are up against 3 opponents, this is a typical example of a spot where most players might overvalue their hand. Broadly speaking, we might win a small pot in hands like this, but if one or more of our opponents are willing to put in a considerable amount of chips on this connected board, it is possible that Jack-Jack will not be the best hand at showdown, because there is a chance one or two of them may already have 2 pairs, 3 of a kind or a straight. Number 2. On a board like 10 of spades, 9 of spades, 8 of spades against 3 opponents, a hand like ours becomes even trickier to play. This is because we do have a high pair as well as an open-ended straight draw, but the possibility of someone already having a better hand than ours still exists. We could easily be up against 2 pairs, 3 of a kind or even straights and flushes. Number 3. If the board is 10 of hearts, 9 of diamonds, 3 of spades and we are up against one opponent, this looks like a good board for our hand in general. Not only do we have a pair higher than all the cards on the flop, there are certain turn cards which could improve our chances of winning the hand at showdown. Any 7 or king will give us a gut shot straight draw to go with our pair, and any 8 on the turn will give us an open-ended straight draw. Even an overcard such as a queen is not so bad for our hand because it also gives us an open-ended straight draw and a different way of making the best hand. Number 4. If the board is king of spades, queen of spades, 3 of diamonds and we are up against 3 opponents, we should be prepared to fold our hand. It is possible that Jack-Jack on this board against one opponent has some chances of winning, but you must proceed with caution. Number 5. In a final example, let's take a situation where there had been a raise before us pre-flop and we decided to re-raise with Jack-Jack. Our opponent calls and now the flop comes ace of spades, 10 of clubs, 6 of clubs. This is not the most desirable situation to be in, since our opponent called our re-raise pre-flop. It is fairly likely that he called it with a hand that has an ace in it. This is not to say that we should completely give up on a hand like this, but it would be sensible to proceed carefully. A key takeaway from the examples we highlighted is that Jack-Jack, like most hands, plays much better when we are up against one or two opponents. As the number of players involved in the hand goes up, the relative value of our hand goes down. Secondly, neither connected small boards nor connected high boards are too good for our hand. The best boards for Jack-Jack are the ones that have small cards with gaps in them and no possibility of making a flush. As you play more and more against a lot of players, you will discover better ways of approaching different hands and developing your strategy accordingly. The concern most players have while playing a hand like Jack-Jack is that a card of a higher rank or an overcard, ace, king or queen, will hit the flop, or if an opponent calls a big raise, they might have a higher pair than them. While it is true that the relative value of our hand would reduce slightly if there is a card of higher rank on the board, it is important to understand that just because an ace, king or queen has appeared on the flop, it is not necessary that our opponent will always have that card. Since hands like 10-10 and 9-9 are also of similar strength as Jack-Jack, we can also approach those hands in a similar manner. Remember, the cards do not discriminate. Just because we may have lost a few rounds with a particular hand in the past does not mean we play them passively or with an element of fear or stop playing them altogether. Every hand is different, and just like a batsman attempts to play each ball on its merit, we should aim to play every hand on its merit as well. So with that done, we hope you now have a better understanding of how to approach tricky pocket pairs like pocket jacks. That's all for today's chapter. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.